I like to read.
That's a hobby.
That's a hobby.
No, come on, man. That's no. So someone asks you at a bar, it's like what your hobby is, and it's reading.
Reading, yeah.
Reading. I mean, I'm not hating. I feel like I don't want to hate. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, it's not hating at all.
No, but I'm just saying. It's like I work out, and that's like this. It's like you should be doing that. Like, do people not like? I mean, I read like just the bare amount, so I'm not like an idiot.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
Same here, but I'm a slow reader, so a book would fucking take me about a couple months to finish. No, I'm just kidding.
Really?
No, I like to watch movies, TV shows. I'm a boring person, dude. With the stand up and all this editing I've been doing lately with this podcast, it's been
Dude, you got to do weird shit. You got to get yourself out doing things. You got to get out of your element, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I got out of my element with the comedy for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, that's definitely true.
Because I've always been a behind the camera person. I've never really been a person that likes to be in front of the camera.
Go to a new neighborhood, stark naked. Go bare ass, and
think-
then just that's your new experience. Just put yourself
see what
out
happens.
there and see what happens. I mean, that's a
On
story
drugs.
right there.
On drugs.
On drugs.
I have
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
on drugs.
Yeah, take peyote or something and just go crazy. Start just losing it. Do you know what I'm saying? That's 5 right there.
Then I'll get fucking stories and bits.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's honestly, I think that's the thing I wanted to do.
What is one of your hobbies?
One of my hobbies?
Yeah.
Geez, I should have had a.
I like to read.
I like to watch movies. I like to read.
Streak naked.
I streak naked. No, I mean, hobby in the day. I used to make comics when I was a kid.
No kidding. Like drawing, illustrating.
Yeah, I used to love drawing. I think I cook. I mean, like I
love cooking.
I love cooking. I mean, like, but then again, that's the same thing. It's like everyone cooks, but like,
true.
I think I'd like to challenge myself and do weird stuff, like pickling. I love pickling.
Pickling? What's pickling?
Like, pickle shit. Like, make a pickle. Like, put a pickle in salt water.
Pickles?
Making pickles. I'll do
no
that.
Kidding,
I'll
dude.
make some pickles every now and then. I'll make some.
Shit, dude.
I love probiotics. You need that for the gut, man.
do.
No one talks about that.
I do kimchi.
We're Asian. These are people. We must be consuming kimchi.
We must be. Even if you're not like Korean, you're still consuming. Every Asian will consume something Asian.
I mean, honestly, there's good Thai food in LA.
There is.
But there's way better Korean food that I don't have like a high standard for. You know what I'm saying?
Such as
like, I grew up in Philly, and the Thai food there, it's okay to white people. It's okay. It's okay to white people. It's not okay to me. I've fucking been in Thailand on roadside shit where they're like, you gotta eat this lady's roadside noodles. You gotta go there and eat it, and then you have it, and you're like, Jesus Christ, these are the best noodles I've ever had in my life. And then you come back here, and some guy that was like a electrician in Bangkok is like trying to make you fucking pad krapao, and you're like, come on, man. Come on, know your lane. I know you know how it's supposed to taste, but this isn't it, champ. So when I come here,
yeah,
I feel like I don't have that for Korean food or Japanese food, Filipino. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
my taste does. I do not know what the standard is, so I'm gonna be more likely to eat it. It's same thing for kimchi's different, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. You're open.
Yeah, absolutely, dude, absolutely. Do you like Filipino food?
I don't know the spots. That's my problem.
I don't know either.
You don't know the spots?
Jollibee?
I'll smash Jollibee.
Yeah, dude.
I got high cholesterol now, though. I got to worry about that.
Do you really?
Yeah, 23, high cholesterol, dude. I'm fucked.
How'd that happen, dude?
My dad genetically has it.
Shit.
But here's my diet. Here was my diet before I had to be conscious of it. It would be something along the lines of like 4 slices of bacon, eggs, kimchi. 3 cups of black coffee. Then I'd be like, what are we doing for lunch? Jollibee. And then I'd be like, oh, I'm kind of hungry. Another cup of coffee. Chocolate croissant. Then I'd be like, oh, what do I want to do? All right, I have some marinated meat from the H Mart. I'll marinate that. Rice, that, kimchi, vegetables. And then by the end of the day, you'd be like, holy shit, I ate like 1.5 pounds of red meat, plus burgers, plus pastries, and then I'll top it off with an ice cream sandwich, a cup of lemonade. Dude, I mean, I can't eat like that.
You're still in great shape, though, for all that food, dude. Well, you're young, too.
There's a young plus that age-defying Thai body, dude, that I'm fucking ripping the gym for, man. I'm going Thai Ken. I'm going Simu Lee in this bitch, dude. That's what I'm doing. That's what I do, man. And so I have to change that.
Okay.
Because the doctor's like, dude, we don't know if this is genetically high and if it's something you can't
That's
control,
crazy.
or if by what you just told me, your diet, you can definitely control this. So they were doing some experiments to find out. They were doing some blood work.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
Wild.
But
I don't have any. I don't know what I have.
you don't know what you have?
No, I don't really go to the doctor.
You're a doctorless guy?
I'm a doctorless guy.
Dude, that's
I just kind of just breathe. You know what they always say, right? It's what you don't know won't kill you.
that's dude, you got something deep in there, dude. What if your bones are made of paper and your eyes are made of eggshells? You gotta. I don't know.
I feel like your body will tell you.
But don't you ever hear that? Like the thing that got me was I was just talking to this. Well, this is he's an older family friend, like he's in his 90s. But he's like, yeah, my dad was 36 and just dropped dead one day. And I'm like, holy shit. But I don't know if that's just like the 1940s diet. But I'm on a 1940s diet. I'm like having like. Dude, I'm like, oh, it's okay if I have like 3 bacon, egg, and cheeses and a burger, no fruit, no like.
But I see. I eat well though. Like I used to have fucking stomach problems, dude, because my diet was like that. And we eat a lot of frozen food, a lot of fast food.
Okay.
And then my girl, she's from France, so she changed up my whole diet, man. Now I don't have any like stomach problems. That was the only problem I really had.
She's like, Jesse, you cannot. What you put in your body is garbage. It belongs in the poubelle. The garbage diet. You have no class in your body. No, is that what she said?
No, she's actually half British, too. So, but she's got like an English accent. She doesn't have a French.
She
accent.
does. That's why I was thrown off.
Yeah,
that's why I was thrown off.
Yeah,
French,
that's
I
right.
met her. Yeah. No, man. So what do you eat? Like you just?
I eat fruit in the morning. I stay with fruit in the morning. I do my fruit,
yeah.
and then for like I'll do I'll try to do just carbs like for lunch, like in the afternoon. Because I've noticed, especially now I'm older, dude. I've noticed that like when I have carbs at night, I'll wake up all fucking groggy. Like I'm just like right.
Yeah. Beer does that to me.
Yeah,
but beer is fun.
Yeah, beer is fun. Alcohol is so much fun. Dude.
Alcohol is so much fun. That's the slogan. Alcohol. It's a lot of fun.
Dude, I've been getting depressed lately though, dude. Like the day after drinking, even if it's like a couple beers, dude. Not depressed, like I'm fucking hurt myself. You know what I mean? But like it's just on a low vibe.
Obvious. Yeah. You go up. If you're up for 5 hours, you got to come down.
Yeah.
And sleep doesn't count. Like sleep is just a pause button.
Yeah. When I was young though, I would recover quickly, dude. I'd be all about it.
I think I started a little too young with drinking. That's my.
How old were you?
16, maybe.
That's
like, normal.
Normal,
maybe it's normal, but I think 16 to 22. Those 6 years add up. You know what I'm saying? That's 6 years, and I was having fun. I mean, I had a balance. Like am not an alcoholic, but I had a balance. Like my life, I think you know the drug.
The fact that you had to say that, Nate.
Now I'm fine. Now I'm fine. I think. But everyone has their thing.
Everyone has their thing.
Yeah. I mean, my thing on it all is that have you ever heard? It's not like it's a kind of it's an intuitive thing, but the thing with drug addicts or like that they say is it's circumstantial, that it's not talked about a lot. Like they do this experiment with rats. And when they talk about like how addictive, say like meth is, they'll put the rat in the cage, but there's nothing in it. You're just in a cage, and then they give the rat meth, and then it becomes so addicted to it. But when they put the rat in, they call it like Rat Wonderland, where it's a bunch of other rats that he can play with. There's a bunch of little games. There's food like cheese and garbage that they can play in, and then they put the meth water in. They don't touch the meth water nearly as much. Circumstance. Obviously, if we were locked in this room, in this cage for the rest of our lives, and then we're like, oh, that's meth that we can just kind of have fun with, like, yeah. But if we were in like, our little, so if you have all the other things, it just doesn't, you don't need it,
Right. That's interesting, dude.
Yeah, but it kind of makes sense. Like,
it does make sense.
Yeah. It's like if I was in a prison, and then all I had was access to like have any type of fun or any feeling was alcohol, then you'd probably get really addicted to alcohol.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's funny how they used rats too to always test it.
Yeah,
Like the psychological effects, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I know they had an experiment with they were testing the optimal amount of how people can function in a society, basically. And they noticed that the more rats they put in there, they would develop like these schizophrenic tendencies, right?
Okay.
Like one couple of them would just like stand in a corner and just be nodding their head, right? Others would be in another corner just running around by themselves.
Yeah.
And they say that they did this experiment to compare bigger cities with smaller cities. So that's why yeah, dude, I mean, it was a wild.
Do you think you go schizophrenic? And so what the argument is that if you're in a smaller kind of like the smaller place makes you go a little bit crazier?
No, when there's more, the amount of people or rats there are in a smaller area, the crazier people get. You know, because they were comparing like bigger cities towards, you know, like farmland and stuff like that, and they realized that like the optimal size of these rats in a certain amount of square footage it was like 15 or something like that, but where everyone, and they compared it to humans, right?
Do you think that's? I mean, I can't. Yeah, I buy that. I mean,
well, not schizophrenic, but going crazy. Then for sure, I think bigger cities there are a little people who are a little kookier.
Yeah, I think just the thing. I mean, I think there's that aspect. I also just think, like, say you go to New York or something and you see something crazy. I mean, there's just more people to watch do crazy shit. Yeah. There's 8 million. Oh, I don't see this shit in Spokane, dude. You live in Spokane. You just don't have as many crazy people as we have. Okay. We have 8 million people. There's gonna be more crazy people than fucking like the 30K. Yeah. That's my thing. Yeah. That's but I get that more people, more confined, more claustrophobic. You definitely feel that.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Earlier you were talking about this. We're gonna go into comedy now, but you were talking about how a comedian changes in 5 years, or like there's a shift in 5 years.
Yeah,
you want to go a little bit more into that?
I don't know if there's. I don't know if it's not a concrete rule, but there's a thing that I've heard that a few times that it's like around 5-year mark is when some people make the jump. Let's say from amateur to professional, semi-professional to professional. That's a marker. I don't know how true that is. I think for me, it's how quickly do you find your like comedic bearings and voice. So for me, you can have a good presence, you can feel comfortable, you can even be a talented joke writer, but if the audience doesn't buy what you're selling them, like character-wise of what you're putting on stage, it's going to be a lot tougher, and I think you're going to encounter more hurdles. So the quicker you find that voice, and I think this is a years long process. Like I know some comedians, it's instant. They've been touched by God. They just know how they are viewed by the audience, and how and what kind of, this might be all subconscious too, what makes them funny, why the audience thinks that, they just kind of get that, and then they can just write to that.
Sorry.
No.
It was going low. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No. So just get me high. Get me high, baby.
There you go.
Get me high.
There you go. Fuck, where were we?
Finding
the voice. Yeah. Some people are just naturally talented at it.
It's not. I don't know if it's a talent. It's just kind of like being born 6'5" and then realizing you're kind of athletic, and then you're like, oh, basketball might be my thing. So for them, it might be they just kind of deep down know why they're funny and why other people, they know the perception of themselves, and then it's just so easier to write to all the things that you think are funny, and you just kind of deliver it so naturally. For me, I feel like now I'm touching on what my voice could be. I feel like there's something there. I feel I am starting to sense why people think I'm funny, and like things that I do, and then now I can write the good jokes to that, rather than just writing good jokes, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you can write good jokes, but the audience has to believe like the person that you are on stage is gonna say that and gonna believe these things. I think 5 years is kind of, maybe that's the point when you start to really hone your voice, and then you're like, oh, I can make money off this. I can make bank off this.
How long have you been doing comedy?
I've been doing comedy, improv comedy. I did for like a decade in.
Oh, wow.
Stand up, 3 years.
Okay. And you finding that voice, or getting to the point where you are right now, finding your voice.
Yeah.
Is there any way that someone like me can accelerate that?
accelerating. I think you record all your sets, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's but listen to where people are laughing, not just when you know it's a punchline, but when people, I mean, like even when you're not getting to the joke that you know is the joke, even the words that are the joke, sometimes that doesn't even matter. It's like, what are they really laughing at? For me, I feel like it's when I start yelling. It's when I get kind of crazy. It's when I do a character that's kind of losing it, when I fully commit. Like as soon as the audience realizes like, oh, he's gonna do that. Like he's gonna fucking, like, he's gonna be there. Like I'm gonna be here. And it's not even what I'm saying. It's just they know that I'm
Your
locking
energy.
My energy and my kind of just commitment to what I'm doing is there, and they're like, holy shit, that's funny. That's funny that he's just gonna be this for the next like 30 seconds. Like he's just committed to being that. Which is, but other people might be like, I don't know what entire, but it's like if you're weird or just like you're slow, like I talk like this and that, and like that's your delivery and that's your presence, and then you write jokes to that. Like maybe your just vibe is that you're a weird, slow talking person,
Right?
And then when you tell the joke, and then people aren't even laughing when you. There was this guy in Philly. I don't know if it was intentional, but he would tell these jokes like, "Oh, my name is," and he would talk about how he played chess, and it would be all these terrible, not terrible, but it was these puns about like playing chess or something. He's like, I'm always trying to get to the queen. But people would just laugh because it was 5 minutes of him just being like that. And then he's like, why are you guys laughing at me? I'm not even telling a joke. But it's like, that's his voice. That's just who he is. And so that presence even, like everyone's like, it's just funny that you're this guy doing the jokes and or this person doing the jokes. Like, yeah, it's, I think for me, it's like as soon as you realize who you have to be on stage to be funny and like making that shift, you're kind of finding your voice, or you're kind of finding and understanding what makes you funny.
So the high energy that you bring, was that something that you had from the very get-go, or?
I think it was something that I had from the very get-go, but it was something that I didn't fully understand, like
How to hone it in.
And the power. Yeah, it's like it was like a wild stallion that I possessed on me, but I didn't know how to put the reins on it. I didn't know how to control it to like use it to my benefit. Like sometimes it would come out, sometimes it wouldn't. And then as soon as I realized like, oh, when this comes out, there's more laughter and there's more people engaged into what I'm saying. I was like, I got to do that.
And when was that? Was that just an event, or was that just a culmination of things?
That was like that was just like living and doing mics, like just like hitting and getting, I don't know, hours worth of time under me, like and recording and listening back and looking at the jokes and the things that I thought were funny and would get me aggravated and would get me passionate. I'm gonna burp. Look, so it's that. I think, but other people, like I just said, they just kind of know, like they just know, and to expedite that. Yeah, it's like listening to and even kind of paying attention to why are people laughing beyond just funny things that you're saying or funny act out. It's like, yeah, like the act out. Why, what makes the act out funnier? What makes, I don't know. Yeah, it's like paying attention to the laughs that you didn't intend for.
And then are you giving yourself feedback? Are you taking this footage to someone else, or the recording to someone else and they're giving you feedback? Or is this like literally like just a you versus you thing?
I think this is a me versus me thing. I'll talk to people about my jokes. I'll talk to people and fellow comedians about my sets. People will give feedback. But a thing that people would always say is like, oh, you have great energy. You have great energy. Like, you have this energy. And I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? What energy? But then I'd be like, what is that energy? And it's like, maybe it's just that it's when I go for it. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, when I go for it, the jokes hit harder. When I'm more energetic and I'm more into it and I'm more just like intense, the jokes hit harder. And it's like, I'd love to be not having to like, it takes a lot. Like, I feel like sometimes I'll just be quiet at a mic and people are like, oh, or like after a show and they'll be like, oh, this guy's different than he is on stage. And I'm like, yeah, I have to consciously make a choice to be kind of balls to the wall in it, 100% energy and like, this is why, like, kind of like that. and that's higher. That's a higher percentage chance of me being funnier on the night.
So let's say that you're having a fucking bad day and nothing's going for you, and you got a show that night, and you got to bring this high energy, but your energy's fucking low.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach this?
How do I approach this? I'll drink a Red Bull or I'll drink a coffee, and that typically will upset my stomach. Then I'll go take a poop. No, yeah, you have to kind of know yourself. So I know that I can flick it on in a switch. That's kind of the honing it, like that. I know what the material is. I know that I like to riff. I know, so I'm gonna always pay attention to the sets before me. I'll come in, like, maybe I'll just be like, okay, I don't really want to be in this crowded space, but I know I'm going up 6th. So I'll just take maybe a second. I'll always try to watch other comic sets and be supportive. But then maybe I'll be like, all right, I got to just take a second. I'll come back into the room in like 5-10 minutes, come back into the room, watch the sets, see what that inspires, just like kind of be in that. If I'm, this is all if I'm low energy, let's say. And then I'll be like, all right, let's get into it. The show's going to happen. And you just got to I make like a conscious choice before like the person who's going up before me. It's like, all right, you got to go be funny. I make a conscious choice to be like, go and try to crush. I don't care. Like, and it's cathartic. I want to be on that stage. I always want to be. I do genuinely. Like, I love doing time. And so I like make a conscious choice to be like, okay, buddy, fuck the parking ticket you got. F your parents, they suck. They, forget the fact that your girlfriend hates you. And then it's like, because right now you got to do something. You got to go wild. And this is all, I'm trying to like be like this, like, oh yeah, that was funny.
But
like, in my head, I'm like, you got to go.
It's like,
and
yeah,
you gotta
athletics then almost, dude. It's like an athletic mindset, right? Like you're calm on the outside, but inside is just that beast waiting to just be released.
Yeah, I think so. I think you gotta want to do well, and you gotta motivate yourself. I mean, and it can be sometimes you're down, but I do the same thing almost, even if I'm ready to go, and even if I want to go. Same thing. If the room's dead, even if you want to go and the room's dead, you're like, and there's different approaches. I'm not gonna come out. The thing is, it's like I don't want people to think that I'm always coming out. But like sometimes you just got to come out like I always come out like I want to be here. I'm comfortable here.
Yeah.
Let's make it work. Let's make something happen. Let's make magic happen.
Yeah, absolutely. This crazy energy, did you have this during improv as well? Like, was this something that was successful for you in improv?
Yeah, definitely. I think what was successful and what I started to translate from, say, like improv comedy is that, commitment is everything. Like commitment to the scene partner, what people give you, the information, acting is commitment. I would say, like, committed to the character that you're playing, like, and flicking that switch consciously or subconsciously, that helped me. Like just being like, okay, I've been labeled as a 45-year-old dad. Let's. And I'm not always thinking about, I think improv gets you out of your head. So it's like, I wasn't thinking like, let's be a 45-year-old dad, but like, I think my body would adjust, my voice would adjust. And then you're like playing this person, you're acting. And so you'd act and try to be that person, not thinking about it too much, but just like being like, no, I'm a 45-year-old dad. This is my kid. Even if the person's like, 8 feet tall and they're Latinx. And I'm like, I don't know if this guy could be my kid, but I'm going to believe that this guy is my kid and that I'm his 45-year-old dad. So that's the improv taught me a lot about, commitment.
That was one thing I struggled with. I still struggle with it now, but there's the commitment. Because like I said, I've never been like someone who did improv or theater or anything like that or acted. Yeah. I was always behind the camera. And shit's hard, dude. It's wild.
It's hard. It's a skill. And I think it comes easier for others. It's something that you gotta find.
Yeah,
you gotta find if it's not your thing. And some people it is their thing. But like for me, like a lot of the trouble was like, joke writing. It's like I could say funny things. I was like, I didn't intend for that to be fun. It's like I think I had a little bit of like I could deliver stuff. I always was just like, damn, one day I just hope like a cool guy is like, hey, I'm going to give you all this sick material and you can just take it secretly and then no one will know and you'll become.
Have you found this guy yet?
No, I haven't found. Maybe I have, but I wouldn't tell you. I can't tell anyone. It's a pact with Satan.
Let me see here. I had a good question. God damn it. So you started stand up 3 years ago. How long did you do stand up until you got your first show?
Until I got my first show.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what's funny is that there was like a high school talent show, and we would have this where it'd be kind of like all these guys from the high school from different places. It'd be like theater guys, music guys, like and it was like really popular. It was like one thing the school always loved is to kind of see like the mix of like just all these random dudes from like these upperclassmen, and they're gonna do it, and they do like dance numbers and stuff. And I was like, okay, maybe I should do stand up. I know I can do stand up. So I wrote a bunch of material about the school, about my friends, about my family. Practiced it, worked it out, and then performed it in like an 800-seat theater, and that was sick, and it went well, and I was like, holy shit, this is awesome, and that was like my senior year, and then I didn't really do comedy. I was like, this is cool. All right, I was like, I did it. Cool.
Cool. I know I can do it.
I was like, I know how to do it. Easy. I don't need to do it.
I love that.
And then I started like leaning into, we had a pretty cool improv troupe at my college. I kind of just was like, I'm comfortable doing this. I know how to do this. I want to get better at this. I kind of leaned into that. And then in the pandemic, I kind of started writing more, and I didn't have an outlet to do it. And then I started doing Zoom mics and Zoom stuff. And technically, my first show would have been a Zoom show for flappers, if you'd believe that.
No shit.
But my first real show would be in Cleveland.
Okay.
It would be in Cleveland. I went on Zoom. I thought like, dang, I'm doing some stuff. I'm getting some shows on Zoom. Went back to my hometown in Philly, and then I started hitting mics, and then I'm like, oh shit, this is harder. Like, this is live.
Yeah,
I don't get to just kind of like have some cheat sheets on me. That's when I was like really like, you know, I mean, the kind of started from a little bit like net zero. Like I was like, back there's a bunch of people that have been doing comedy for a lot longer. They're from Philly, so they're naturally all dicks already.
Yeah.
And they're no. But like, yeah, the audience in Philly is awesome, but they want you to crush. They want you to be funny. Yeah. And I wasn't funny like that yet. And so I did this was kind of like things were opening up a little bit. Started just getting better, do mics, go out to mics, get into the comedy scene. Went back to school when the pandemic lifted in Cleveland, and then I definitely learned a lot. I did like 4 months of mics pretty much and didn't get any shows. Did some mics in Cleveland. Some people saw me. They're like, hey, come on my show. You got some stuff. Like, you're funny. And then I did my stuff, and then started getting booked in shows and doing mics in Cleveland for like a year and a half out there. And it was cool.
And how was that first experience? How was that first show for you?
The first show, I remember the guy before me did a bunch of racist shit about Asians, but it was kind of funny. So I was laughing, and like he was saying funny stuff. But then I'm like, all right, like I did some riffs about that. People laughed. I did my material, and it went well. But this is going, like, I guess this was a few years in the making, even for a first show. But I knew how to perform. I felt comfortable, and like that's what improv or anything like you know theater people, like at least they're comfortable on a stage, like they're not scared with people with eyes on them. So yeah, and it went pretty well. Like, but I was at mics bombing and shit. You know, I was still trying to find the things and write about things that I thought were funny and stuff, but like some of it didn't resonate, and I had to do that
to find it
and do months of that. You know.
Yeah. The reason why I asked you these questions is because you're the first person I'm going to tell. It's going to be out now, but I got my first show coming up.
Wow. Yeah, hey, congrats. That's big. That's big.
Yeah. 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now? Where at?
Fourth Wall.
Fourth Wall?
Yeah, Fourth Wall.
All right. That's those rooms get hot, man. That'll be a lot of fun.
I went on Friday to the Late Show, and it was packed.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's a fun place to perform. You bring some friends out to come and see you go up. I think that's always good. I had a good friend at my first show. You know, I had a few people.
Does that help? Because sometimes it's like hit or miss with some comics. Like some comics like when they know people are there, and others just hate it.
I think a friend, comics and friends, they don't work well together. Like they don't they don't really have a lot of friends. I mean, it's like good friend. I don't know. I like having good friends there.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's weird if it's like a coworker and then you're like, am I gonna do pussy jokes for fucking 5 minutes? and then Karen from HR is gonna be like, well, that was interesting how you compared pussies to fucking spiders and stuff. And you're like, all right, like, I don't know. Have a friend that like knows you deep down and knows that you're, who you are.
Yeah.
I think I always love it. I mean, I went back to Cleveland. I did shows and some friends, they came out. And that made it a lot of fun because, people want to see you go up. I think if you've been doing a while and you care about it and they care about you, they want to see you kind of in your element. They want to see you perform.
Right.
So I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
But it's up to you. It's every person is different.
Yeah.
There's no hard and fast rule. I'm not gonna make you bring friends here,
Yeah.
dude.
No, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I don't know. Any advice that you have? Me going to my first show, like obviously there's gonna be performance jitters, so I need help with that. But like, any advice? Like,
I think I don't know if I get performance jitters, but there were times like what you get is you want to do the show. For me, it'd always be like, I'm anxious to do the show.
Yeah,
I want to be up there. I want to be done the show. I want to go up there. I want to kill and I want it to be done. Yeah. And so you're like sitting there, the show's at 7 and then it's like 12 in your apartment and you're eating an omelet and you're like, oh God, can this thing happen already? Dude. Like, can this come?
And I'm like an early riser. So I like waking up early and going to bed early. So like fucking, I mean, it's at 8 o'clock, but still, I'm like, fuck. Let's look at you. I know it's gonna be like fucking 2 in the afternoon. I'm gonna be like, oh my God, dude.
I think, just for like, know your stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the shows that you prep differently and it changes throughout, your path. But for my shows, I knew what I was going to say. I knew my material. Right. I knew I wanted, and if there was something that would come up, just my personality, I was going to talk about it. I was going to riff on it.
Right.
If it's something that I wanted to, that I just grabbed me, I'd have to comment on it. Like, that's always how I've been. But I also knew that it's like, okay, if I'm doing a 7-minute set, let's have 6:30 of really strong stuff. 6:30, so even if there's nothing to riff about, I can finish early, but still on time, and then they'll be like, oh, this guy doesn't run the light. He's a good comic. He knows his stuff. He comes prepared. But then I'll give yourself wiggle room. I would give myself wiggle room to riff a little bit, but also
you give yourself 30 seconds. About 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah. I mean, but that's if you like to riff. If you don't do that. Just do what you feel comfortable and what you feel is your strongest stuff. Always do it.
I like to riff.
You like to riff?
I like to riff.
Yeah, then give yourself some time. Yeah. Maybe like, 30, 20 seconds. Yeah, and if you're doing 7 minutes, be like, okay, I have 6:15 that I know in my heart is some of my best stuff and the best stuff that I can put out there right now in this moment.
You do any crowd work?
I will engage with the crowd. I don't know if what I would say, I think I incorporate the crowd. The thing with like crowd work for me is it's like, I don't know, I haven't honed that as much as I'd like to, or as much as I don't have as much of a pull to do that.
Right.
But I'm going to talk and engage with the audience. Mm-hmm. Like I don't like, there's some comics that will be like this and then that's their style and they're not really good. They're going to like not do jokes at you, but they're going to just do the jokes. For me, it's like I always feel like I'm in conversation with the whole room. Yeah. So if I even see someone's face, I'm gonna like be like, hey, "Why are you doing that?" Yeah. I acknowledge. I'll always acknowledge that the audience is there, and I want to, and I'll comment. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I'm gonna be like, "Hey, where are you coming from, man? Like, what's your deal?" I'm not that.
Comics who do that, they put that into their sets too, because like I said, we were just talking about saving 30 minutes or 30 seconds to riff. Are they doing that same thing too, where it's like, okay, on a 7-minute set, I know I have 3 minutes of great material. I'm just gonna crowd work for like 4.
Yeah, if that's your skill. I mean, yeah, and this kind of goes to voice, or this goes to like, you have to find what you're good at, and if you know I'm good at and I can make something happen in 7 minutes, and like I know I can make some awesome crowd work and make it a great live experience, then yeah, I think you definitely build that in. But yeah, they're comics too, and then they'll definitely probably I don't know as many like. It's tough to be an open mic, or like tough to be like starting out and also be like crowd work all the way. I feel
Right, yeah,
like.
100%.
I feel like you people, they come, and in the spaces that we hang out, like they come and they work on material.
You're right.
Yeah, because you kind of need that too. It's like a both. But there's plenty of people I know that have great material and they know that they're really talented at crowd work, but then they've been doing it for like 10 years. So it takes 10 years to kind of figure that out a little bit.
Very true.
And balance that. But yeah, why? You want to do crowd work?
No, I was just asking.
You want to go and talk to some babes about what they're drinking?
Not at all.
What you got, a Mai Tai, baby? What do you got there?
I was just curious because when you think of stand-up, you just think of going up there telling jokes. You forget other aspects, especially being so new to it. Like you don't realize that riffing has its own thing, and then crowd work is its own label.
Yeah.
Right? Like you just think all of it is just incorporated under the same umbrella.
Yeah, no.
Which essentially it is, right? Everything is incorporated under stand-up, but it's like you don't see these other things.
I always thought I liked riffing because I always thought it's way more high percentage for me. As like, I knew sometimes you're riffing already on a joke that already crushed, but you might have a different angle or something to say. And then at the very least, you're like, oh yeah, you're reminding me of this funny thing. That's kind of funny. Okay. Or you're talking about something weird that happened and you just got to talk about it.
Right.
Like, I was at a show and a guy hit himself with a rubber snake in the leg. I mean, it was a part of his bit, but he was like really whipping himself. And I had to say that, and then the audience appreciates it. Like they'll laugh and they'll be like, "Yeah, that was crazy that he was going to town on his leg with a rubber snake." Like, how do you not? You got like that higher percentage because I just feel like
they're a part of it.
They're a part of it. Yeah.
It's like an inside joke for the whole room.
Exactly, and that's what makes live performance fun. It's like you probably can't send that to a festival or JFL because they'll be like, "What the hell is this guy talking about?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like there's a reason you do it live and do it for that, have fun with people, riff on the past stuff, build on stuff together, make the show kind of cohesive a little bit even, or that like we're all experiencing this together right now at the same time. We're jerking off to it. We're fucking eating bags of Cheetos. We're getting weird. I just did poppers with a friend in the back room, but I heard that joke and now he's talking about it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
When you the situation is like you're six on the lineup or whatever, and how do you find that stuff to riff on in the beginning? Like, is it just something that it's like an event like that where the guy slapping himself in the foot, something that everyone remembers, or are you trying to grab someone from the performer behind you? And like, how far back are you trying to grab stuff for the audience to remember, right? Like, let's say you're six. Are you going to grab something the first person said?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah?
Maybe, but it has to be kind of
memorable.
Right. And you can do a little help to remind them. Like, I think people's memories are good enough where, after you kind of leave the show and you're out on the street and you're talking and you're like, babe, like, you want to get boba now? Like, I think you kind of like forget what was said. But in the moment when you're like, oh, Timmy was talking about how he'd never like eat a blanket or something, even though he was the first comic. It's like you can kind of remind them a little bit and then give them your riff on that. And
that's a good note. Okay.
Like you gotta help the audience kind of remember a little bit.
Yeah,
but
you can't just go in there and be like, Timmy eats a fucking blanket.
Yeah, yeah. That's a little harsh. That's a little. They're like, what the hell is he talking about? And they're like, oh, maybe that guy from like 30 minutes ago. So, but also I do think. Maybe I don't know if it's a higher percentage. I've seen stuff like I've done some really fun rooms where I've literally been the last guy up, and then I kind of have a little. I feel like I like knew the hosts and the producers, and I'm like I have like some freedom to kind of like mess around. Like they know that I'm funny. They know that the show is kind of casual. Let me try and just riff, and I'm riffing on earlier stuff, but it's still hitting hard.
Right.
And it's like the show, it's like that's like you feel freedom to like take risks like that. And so I've taken risks and it's paid off. And it's like almost like riffing on a lot of what was said and kind of rehashing that and like laughing and putting my spin on it. Yeah, like I've seen it work. So I've seen it work like really well. But it's, you have to gauge because like maybe you don't want to riff for 5 minutes. Like maybe you just want to do 1 minute and you pick like maybe it'd just be better it's if I just talk about what was said 5 minutes ago rather than what was talked about 45 minutes ago.
Right. Yeah. And I guess you gotta feel the vibe of the crowd too, right? Like, it depends on what they're laughing on. Because if you bring up something that they're probably not laughing at, then they probably don't remember.
Yeah. Or what do you have to exactly? You have
awkward.
to say, awkward moments you can riff on too. It's just that you got to be funny. Like I always think it's like, well, you got to make that funny. You got to be like, did you guys just like that guy ate glass on stage? I don't know. Like you got to make that like you gotta make the thing awkward funny. Mm-hmm. And if you feel like what you're saying is making you laugh, and you feel like, oh, this is funny, and you believe that, and you're committed to doing that, yeah, do it. Like if you see someone else do something funny already, but you want to give a counter, you want to do that, like do that. Maybe you have a chance too. Because like maybe you might have a better. I don't know. I don't know what the percentages are here. I don't even know. It's all in the moment. It's all live. It's improvised in a way. So you got to figure out, like, sometimes I'm kind of like, I know this is going to work because they already fucking laughed on it. I'm like, I'll take a freebie, you know?
The layup.
Yeah, I'll take the layup. Sometimes you're really chucking one up there and it misses. You missed two, but...
Yeah, that's been me for like 2 months, bro. Just breaking everything, man.
Hey, it's tough. It's a tough racket, these open mics, man. It's tough, but, you know...
Especially out here, bro. It was completely different out here than it was in Vegas.
Vegas was nicer?
I just did one open mic in Vegas.
Yeah.
And then completely different out here.
Well, that's what they say. They say, I mean, so I started, like, I bounced around, but, like, Ohio is really where I got my footing. Shout out Cleveland, the 216. Go Cavs. The Browns are a little... There's some guys on the Browns I don't know if I bangs with, you know what I mean? I think they're doing there's some crazy stuff at massage parlors. I don't know if I want to be up in the Browns right now. I don't want to up in the Brown, you know what I'm saying? But
I'm just gonna make that a clip in no context. It's just up with the Browns.
Up in the Brown. You're gonna you don't up me in the Brown, man. I'm not like look. I like Myles Garrett. You can say that. I mean, he hit a guy on the head with the helmet, but there was some fishy business going on there. Fuck the Steelers. Go Birds. Look, I guess to that point, yeah, Cleveland was a great place because it's a great comedy city at like a lot of places in the country. You know, we're all watching the same reels, TikToks. We all know who the comics are. We all have, you know, a similar cultural taste and like national identity. And it's just that they don't live in New York or LA or Chicago or these big markets where there's a lot of cool comics that not only come and tour but like live there. And so in Cleveland there would be a lot of cool comics that live there and perform there, plus a really fun scene. And so people would come out to bars like normal people to mics, and they would just like really love it because they watch Mark Norman like everyone else, or like they watch Chappelle and like like Maria Bamford, or like they watch these people and then they want to see comedy, and so they're just willing to be like, well, this is our version of stand-up comedy that we have. There's nothing going on a Wednesday night. Let's come to this bar where we know there will be a bunch of comics that'll be some miss, some funny, but like some also really talented that tour around the country, and it's like you're in a really cool scene like that, and people, you get more maybe out of the mics, but there might be less. So that's your converse. There's only 2 mics a night instead of
that's very
20.
True. Yeah, that's very true.
But there is a live audience, man. They get rowdy
out there.
Sure. I think I remember. So I'll do impressions, I'll do voices, but I remember I was performing just at a mic. And people get drunk because it's it's at bars rather than just like in a kind of like a theater space or something. And so they're hammered, and then they'd just be like, "Do Jeff Goldblum." I'm like, I don't do Jeff Goldblum. And they'll be like, they're just yelling at you like to do impressions that you don't do. I'm like, I don't know you, man. But it's funny. It's funny as hell.
Did you try it though?
I did do Jeff Gold. I did. I actually crushed it. I pulled it out of my ass.
No fucking way.
I don't. I couldn't do it right now. But whatever was happening, whatever that cider that I drank before, whatever in it had Jeff Goldblum juice in it. You know what I mean? I was fucking
cider. That's your drink of choice. You like cider?
In my heyday,
In your heyday.
In my heyday, it was sweet. It's like a kid drink. It's alcohol for kids. Cider, alcohol for kids. Put it in your baby's belly. Yeah, I was a cider guy. Pineapple cider. It's really good. I'll put you on. I
don't
know if that.
I can't do the sugars, dude. To fuck up my stomach.
That's my thing too. Like now I can't as much. I'll like a tart cider every now and then.
A tart cider.
Yeah, like where it's less sweet, but it's still like an apple. You kind of get the apple flavor. It's like, Granny Smith. Like why is Granny Smith appealing? It's kind of like leaning into that as a cider, and you don't get the tasting note of like.
I guess that could be fun.
Sugar.
I guess that could be fun.
Yeah. No. But the sweet stuff, like you know what a strongbow is?
No.
Strongbow. It's the British cider of choice, man. I had this friend from Birmingham, and he put me on the strongbow. He's like, mate, I'm gonna make you a snake bite. And I'm like, what's a snake bite? He's like, you're gonna do Stella Artois, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of this strongbow in there, half and half. You're gonna love it. So it's half beer. That's a snake bite. Half cider, half beer. That's good too. Strongbow is a really.
I like Stella, so maybe I'll try that.
Yeah, it's a really it's a sweeter cider. Strongbow. It's cheap and
I can get out here.
Yeah, definitely. You can definitely get Strongbow out here. But it's sweet though, so you dilute it down with another.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'd have a cider or something. I mean, I was like I was like 21, so I'd be like, it's like I don't want to have a man's IPA where I'm tasting like feet and hops and butt juice. I wanted something sweet, man.
I'll take a cider.
I wanted the dessert of alcohol. You know what I'm talking about? I wanted like.
You ever try Bailey's with coffee?
Yeah. I've had Bailey's
or like milk. I think it's milk. Bailey's and milk.
Bailey's and milk?
Is it milk or coffee?
I think it has to be coffee.
Yeah, I think it is coffee. Right? It is coffee.
A cup of milk and Bailey's, dude, getting hammered off of milk?
Well, White Russians. White Russians.
Those are bomb. I had there were a lot. I mean, it was easy to drink when I was in college because I was just lived in a city where the cost of living was cheaper. So then you try a lot. I'd go to one place that did like martinis, and I'd be like, oh my God, I only had 4 martinis. Why am I so fucked up? Dude. They'd make these martinis in in plastic cups, like a red Solo cup of martini. I'd be like, why am I so fucked up off this martini? I didn't want to. The guy was pouring me a cup of vodka, 4 cups of vodka. I'm like, this don't do this to me. What's in this thing?
That's good. I like that.
That was a bit. I used to do that voice a lot, and that was a thing though. I would do that voice, and and people would laugh their ass off, but like my friends, and then I'd be like, oh, I guess I'm never gonna do that on the stage.
I like it, dude. I like it.
And then I started leaning into things like that, and people were like, that's funny.
That's hilarious, dude.
Funnier. Yeah,
that's hilarious. Holy shit. Fuck, I forgot I was going to say. Oh, margaritas. That's what fucks me up. The Ritas.
The Ritas,
bro. They fuck me up, man. I'll have like 3 or 4 and I am done for the whole day.
Yeah, man.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. That'll. It's too sweet. It's all the sweet. It's all the sweet that's really going to get you. It's not having any water and doing sweet. Day drinking. Have 5 margaritas in 90-degree weather in the sun, no water, and be like, why do I feel
sweaty
bad?
as fuck?
Sweaty as you're just sweating out lime juice, man. Like, I mean,
well, you're 23. You're still gonna have those days.
Oh no,
those days are.
I live. I mean, I live for those days. But like the days come. I know that they can't come with the frequency that they used to.
Yeah,
that used to be like. Every week, when you're with like, yeah, it used to be every week. I mean,
it's almost every day, dude. I grew up in Vegas. That shit was fucking
really,
yeah. Because I was single between like 21 and 25, so that was like,
oh yeah,
bro, like at least fucking maybe 4 or 5 days out of the week I'd be drinking.
Ooh,
it was bad, bro.
Bad. No,
super bad.
I also just think the drinking just hits harder if you work harder, and so I used to work a job where I'd work like 50 hours. And so,
I see what you mean.
I mean, the beer just would be like, you'd be like, wow, this beer tastes a lot better. It's way more.
It does, dude. It really does.
And so now that I work a less strenuous job and my hours are less, I'm just kind of like, I'd rather unwind, like eating some chips and watching a movie. Yeah. If you know what I mean.
Do you smoke weed?
No, I don't. Not really. I used to when I was younger.
Yeah.
But It makes me paranoid.
Yeah.
It makes me go crazy. I see things. I don't want that.
Jesus.
I see crazy. I once smoked one time in the woods and I saw like a deer and then we looked at each other for a while and I'm like, we got to get out of these woods, man. I cannot.
That is kind of weird.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was a deer. It wasn't like I saw like a deer with like 9 antlers. Like I didn't see some like
Harry
Wiccan.
Potter.
I didn't
Harry
see
Potter.
I was like, I didn't see like a crazy like witch doctor deer. I just saw a regular deer. But in my head, I'm like, ooh, this is weeding me out.
Speaking about fucking deer, we saw, remember that a couple, like I think it was like a year ago, where there were these zombies deers, where they would just pop out of nowhere and they had like parasite in their brain.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yes.
So, bro, dude, like it was like a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my girl, we went to Utah to just like go hiking, like to Bryce or Zion National Park.
Sick.
And we're fucking walking back, bro. And there's a fucking deer on the walkway just looking at us that looked fucked up like a zombie deer. And we just stood there. I don't know what to do. Yeah. I had no idea what to do.
Well, you know what, a deer can kill you. I mean, obviously, like, they're a wild animal that's like really big.
Can they?
Yeah, you know what they do?
Stomp you?
Well, they'll stomp you, yes. And their hooves are decently sharp. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
It'd be like, yeah, imagine getting like, it's kind of like a hammer. You know what I mean? Or like kind of like a hammer with like a dull blade or something like that, and a knife with it. And so they'll hoove you.
Holy shit.
They can hoove you in the chest. And you're talking about like, I don't know how big a deer is, but like.
Probably like 300-400 pounds.
Exactly,
dude.
yeah. It's like a 400-pound thing. So it can if it wants to. I mean,
Fuck,
that's why it's a wild animal. Like these things are trying to not get killed by bears. They have to have some mechanism of power. You know, they have a lot.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that you're lucky. I mean, the zombie deer didn't get you. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know, man. I was thinking I could probably fucking put it in a guillotine. I did jujitsu for a while, so I was thinking maybe if that thing came at me, I thought I could get in a guillotine and choke it out.
That's like the most. Yeah, try that one out. Tell me how that works out.
I haven't done jiu-jitsu in like 10 years, but you know.
That's what you thought. You're like, if this thing comes, I think, I don't know.
I'd go for a choke. I would go for a choke. I've heard, like, dude, there was just one time where like a bobcat or a mountain lion attacked some dude, and the dude killed it with his bare hands by just choking it the fuck out.
Yeah, I could see that maybe.
Right? I mean, I'm a small guy. We're Asian here. This obviously the dude was white.
This is the Asian show. This dude's white. That's what he said.
Obviously, the dude was white.
This guy's a mountain man.
Well, who else is gonna go up to the mountains? I'm not going. Up there.
Yeah. There's not. We're not messing in those mountains because of them. Because I'm scared of the white guys that are gonna shoot me with a gun. I think you might be able to if you're there, but also if it's a buck or something, it has those horns.
Oh, that's
true.
Scary.
I don't know. You're
true.
No,
I'm done. If it's a girl deer, I'll fuck that shit up. I'll fuck that bitch up. But if it's a dude deer,
I think you have the power. If you're here, I think you could do it. Like if you could, like that, maybe.
Like even. Just
but you have to. How the hell do you get there? Do you know? How do you
agility, dude? Just it's coming at me right. I'll
Agility?
fake right.
It's a go to the left. It's a deer or a
go
cougar.
To the
These
left,
are like
swim my fucking arm around its head and just hold on for dear life. Wrap my legs around him, wrap him up, and hope we don't go off a cliff.
You're also near a cliff. You're dead, dude. You're done. You're donezo, buddy. Bye, buddy. You're going.
Could you imagine that's how you go though? He's got killed by a deer.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nature's way. That's what they want. I mean, it's I lived to be 90 and I was an accountant and then I got osteoporosis. Like, dude, fuck that. I just want a shark to eat me, man. Just bite off my head. That's how humans were supposed to get. We're supposed to have a grizzly bear just rip us in half. Woolly mammoth stomp on us, dude. That's
funny. Fucking deer, man.
Fucking deer.
Well, dude, off that, man, we are fucking at the time.
All right.
We are at the time, dude. Nate, I appreciate you coming out here, dude, and fucking talking to me, giving me fucking some advice too on my first show. I appreciate that.
Of course, man. Good luck. You gotta I mean, there's comics that I know that have been performing like 15 years, and they'll sometimes come to my show, August 25th, Third Wheel. But I gotta plug. Yeah.
What time?
10 p.m.
I'll come after the fucking my show.
Yeah.
Yours. Yeah. Third Wheel. Okay.
It's a lot of fun. You get obviously comp ticket for a great guy like you. If you're a great person, maybe you might get a comp. But, yeah, I think it's so for them, like this one guy, I'd be like, this guy's just working stuff out. I mean, and it's funny, but he knows it's like they can just work stuff out. Like they can go into some strong stuff, open with some strong stuff for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, get to a new idea that they're working on and they want to work on it at a show. Like their open mics can sometimes be they're way better. So it's like, a lot of the stuff that they're bringing is pretty good, but they'll bring some, they can bring some stuff that they want to cook a little bit and work on. And then they'll end on another strong 5 minutes. But in between there, they'll work on a little bit. For us, I would say, don't work on stuff. Yeah, don't work on stuff. Bring good stuff.
100%.
Bring good
100%.
stuff, and you gotta
100%. I'm not saving anything for like. I mean, if it happens, it happens. You know what I mean? And I'll rush through some jokes or just take some jokes out. But I'm just gonna work on that 8 minutes and just hope for the best.
Yeah, exactly. You just put it out there like the best you can do, and then if you bomb, you'll just say, "Wow, I got to reassess everything." But no, put the best stuff out there, and then you at least can say like, well, I know it wasn't me and my preparation at this time. Maybe I just got to keep working, and I got to keep writing, and I got to keep finding other funny stuff, and I got to battle through that. But always put yourself, I think, in the first shows, like, and even like I'm still doing it. It's like I want to do stuff that kills. And
100%.
And bring that rather than. So what's the deal with like rubbing alcohol? You want to have good stuff. You want to don't work on stuff at this. That's
not at all. No,
yeah,
not at all.
But pleasure being here.
Absolutely, dude. Tell the people where they can find you, Nate.
You can find me at Nate Noggs on Instagram or at Nate Eggnogs on TikTok. Perform throughout LA. Like I said, I have my show August 25th, 10 p.m. at Third Wheel in Hollywood, California.
1 week from when this episode comes out.
One week from when this episode comes out.
I think, you either got the Wednesday or Friday slot.
Well, I'll take whatever slot I got as long as it's promo, man. As long as I'm doing promo, I like it. But yeah, no, this is great. A lot of fun.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for listening. I'll see you later. Bye.